Arsenal 2, Manchester United nil. And what can I say, guys? It was a disappointing game, disappointing performance. We really didn't deserve anything from the game. And I have to say, Arsenal did play really well. However, both sides in the first half were pretty good defensively, but both sides also didn't really offer anything in the first half either. So I think Ruben Amorim would have been happy going into half-time 0-0. Considering how he did line up, it was pretty defensive, and personally, I wouldn't have gone for the lineup that Ruben Amorim did go for. So we should speak about the lineup a little bit. I did predict Mazraoui, Dillit and Maguire to start, and the back four with including Onana of course started, but he did start Dalot and Malacia as wing backs. Personally, I would have started with Ahmad because Ahmad's been in really good form, picking up goals and assists since Erik ten Hag left and Ruud van Nistelrooy played him, and Ruben Amorim's been playing him as well. So I was really disappointed not to see Ahmad in the side. Also, Amorim started Ugarte and Bruno in the middle, and personally I wouldn't have started Ugarte and Bruno in the middle because you're away against Arsenal at the Emirates. It's going to be a really tough game in the centre of the pitch, so you want a little bit more physicality in there. And even though I don't think Ugarte and Bruno were awful, I just think the game bypassed them a little bit, and they were kind of I think they did get outnumbered a little bit in there. So personally, I would have gone for Casemiro and Ugarte in the middle, and then he started with Mount and Garnacho as the inside tens, who in the first half they really weren't in the game whatsoever, and they really didn't get on the ball too much either, and they were bought off at half time. And then finally Højlund up front. Personally, I would have started Bruno and Rashford in the number 10 positions, with of course Højlund up front as well. So I really wasn't happy with the team that Ruben Amorim set out to play, and I wasn't really expecting anything kind of I did predict a draw, and I would have taken a draw as well beforehand, but in terms of how the game panned out, I was really disappointed with the lineup, and I was really disappointed with how we played in the first half as well, and I didn't really improve in the second half either with the substitutions that Amorim made. So if we talk about the first half a little bit, I think both teams were kind of feeling each other out. They weren't really pressing. They weren't really committing too many men forward. So when one side did have a turnover in possession in the first half, the opposition would quickly retreat back and sprint back into position and make it hard for the opposition to break them down. And that's probably why United were pretty good defensively in the first half, and Arsenal really couldn't break us down in terms of creating chances. And in the first half, at the end of it, both sides probably did deserve to be going into half-time 0-0. Neither side really opened each other up, but yeah, especially Arsenal, they did probably overall in the first half have a slightly better one, but I don't think they deserve to be going into half-time 1-0 up or whatever. So yeah, in terms of Man United's shape, they did sit off in a 5-3-2 formation in the early stages, and they let Arsenal have the ball as well. But in the first half, I think possession at the end of it was pretty even. But 8 minutes into the game, though, Partey does have a chance from a corner, and that's going to be the main kind of talking point coming out of this game: how dangerous Saka and Rice's delivery are from corners. And Partey has a chance in the 8th minute to score from a corner, and he probably should be scoring as well. It's really close to the goal. A really nice corner whipped in. I think it's Declan Rice who whips in a ball, and it's Partey at the near post, and he fails to hit the target. I think it comes off his shoulder as well. So it's really unfortunate for him, and he probably should be scoring from that because how good the ball was and how close he was to the box as well. Though I did see some promising sign a minute later from the goal kick, though. Manchester United, this is in the 9th minute, we play it out really well, and I was really surprised that we played it out really well. So Arsenal are trying to press us high at this point from this goal kicks, but we play it out really well, and we're in Arsenal's third. But Arsenal retreat back into position really quickly, and they're sitting in a 4-4-2. And then Manchester United are just recycling the ball at the back with their centre backs, and we really couldn't find that line breaking through ball that usually our centre backs can play sometimes as well. I think Lisandro Martinez is really good at playing that line breaking pass from the centre back position, but of course he was out suspended. And then Luke Shaw as well is pretty decent as well, finding that line breaking pass from that left centre back position, but he was also out injured, unfortunately for him. But yeah, that was kind of promising. But in terms of our centre backs, I think that Maguire, Dillit and Mazraoui were a little little bit cautious in playing that risky ball into midfield, simply because Arsenal were kind of pressing us and doing a good job in shutting down that space as well. And in possession, when Manchester United had it in the first half, it was really side to side and lethargic. We really didn't move it quick enough to kind of threaten Arsenal as well. But yeah, so I have written down in my notes here that in the 10th minute, Manchester United win the ball back in midfield, but Arsenal had everyone behind the ball in a couple of seconds. So that just goes to show how well drilled this Arsenal side is, unlike that game that we saw against Everton on the weekend, where they were really open and Everton were defensively all over the place, and Manchester United capitalised on that game. But, you know, we're playing against a really well drilled Arsenal side here. They're not going to do that against us. So when Arsenal did lose the ball, they did retreat back into position, and they just allowed Manchester United to pass it between the centre-backs, and that's pretty much it, really. We weren't really threatening. We really didn't make any line-breaking passes in the first half, and in the 20th minute though, Mazraoui does give it away, and it's also almost a good chance for Arsenal, but it goes out for a corner, and that was Mazraoui's first mistake probably this whole season. And Saka's delivery for this corner was particularly dangerous, like it was all game. So in the 25th minute though, Saka swings in another corner, and Zinchenko has a shot, it's blocked, and then Martinelli blazes wide. So Arsenal are threatening a little bit from corners and set pieces, and they do score from that in the second half, unfortunately. But in the 27th minute though, there's a break on from Manchester United, but Arsenal again get back quickly, and the attack fizzles out to nothing. And then in the 42nd minute, Mountain volleys almost out for a goal kick, but Maguire keeps it in. He passes it to Dalot, who's coming in into that right half space in the box, who has a shot, but it's wide, and he probably should be hitting the target there. And if Dalot does hit the target from that shot in the 42nd minute, he probably scores, and you know, we're going into half-time 1-0 up. But it was a game of very few chances in the first half. In terms of, to summarise the first half, Manchester United were very good defensively, but going forward we were far too slow, had too many touches in terms of controlling the ball and then laying it off, and everything seemed really slow and lethargic. Like I said, we weren't moving the ball nowhere near quick enough, and we basically had no touches in the opposition box. I'm not sure how many touches we did have in the first half in the opposition box, but it can't have been many, because throughout the whole game we did have a total of 6 touches in the opposition box, and that just simply is not good enough for a team like Manchester United. So yeah, in terms of the first half though, neither team had a shot in the first half as well. So let's just quickly take a look at the stats at halftime. You can see there, that's the lineup that Manchester United did go for in the end. And basically, like I mentioned, I would have started Ahmad, Casemiro, and Rashford ahead of Garnacho, Malacia, and Mount personally. So that's I would have started, you know, move Dalot back to left wing back and just play Ahmad at right wing back, then have a double pivot of Casemiro and Ugarte, and then front three positions have Rashford, Højlund and Bruno. But unfortunately, Amorim did go for this starting 11 that you see on screen right now. So yeah, in terms of second half stats, let's just quickly take a look at them right now. So there are your stats at halftime. Neither team really threatening the goal in terms of shots on target, and Manchester United edging possession just by a little bit, 53%. But if you have a look at the corners, Arsenal had a total of 4 corners in the first half, and they were very threatening from them. Overall, the whole game, Arsenal did finish, of course, with a higher XG than Manchester United. But in the first half, both teams having high pass accuracy, but both teams were very decent defensively in terms of letting the other team have the ball and try to kind of nullify the opposition attack. And Arsenal were really good at that in terms of getting back into position when Man United did win the ball back. But Man United in the final third were not good enough whatsoever in the first half, and of course it continued in the second half as well. In terms of the second half, Malacia did go off for Ahmad at half time. time, and that was the only sub that Manchester United made at half-time. Garnacho in the 47th minute, though, does whip in a really good ball from the outside of his foot, and Højlund needs to be doing more to get to try to get on the end of that cross. It's a really decent ball by Garnacho, and Højlund needs to be doing better there, and then Højlund is then caught offside like a couple seconds later, which is unfortunate for him. And then Arsenal have a chance in the 48th minute. They work it really nicely into the box. Rice has a shot, but it's blocked for a corner, and then the corner, of course, is another dangerous one, but this one doesn't come to nothing. But in the 53rd minute, though, Arsenal do go ahead 1-0. Rice swings in a really good corner, and Timber glances it in. Arsenal really good at set pieces throughout the whole game, and we basically got punished. And they probably deserved it in terms of the run of play, but giving away a set piece goal like that is disappointing. And then Dalot does have a shot in the 58th minute, but that comes to nothing. But Man United do make some substitutions. I think this is in the 60th minute or the 59th minute or something. Mount, Garnacho and Maguire do go off for Rashford, Xerxes and Euro. And I think Euro, when he came on, looked pretty decent. He did make a couple of tackles and stuff, but he was defending that right inside channel, which he kind of sometimes did struggle with, and he had to get help from another centre-back to get a block in for when Arsenal were attacking down that side. But in terms of Rashford and Xerxes, they were a little bit quiet when they came on. They didn't really offer too much, in my opinion. But yeah, in terms of the game going on, in the 60th minute, though, Rice does swing in another corner. Xerxes almost own goals, but Ugarte has to head it away to give away another corner. And then I don't think that corner comes to nothing, but Diallo does win the ball in the 65th minute, and from Zinchenko, who fouls him, and he gets a yellow for his trouble. And it's really good play by Ahmad to threaten down that right side and to press Zinchenko, and that's probably why he should have started, in my opinion. But Ruben Amorim decided to start Malacia ahead and then place Dalot at right wing back. Probably in hindsight, he probably should have started Ahmad because he was a threat when he came on the pitch. But yeah, Bruno does get a free kick from that resulting foul from Zinchenko on Ahmad, and he floats in a free kick into the box, and De Ligt gets on the gets on the end of it, and Raya has to make a really good save. It's a really decent save by Raya, but if De Ligt had kind of headed it a little bit more further into the corner, Manchester United possibly could have scored to make it 1-1. But yeah, in terms of another chance, Arsenal have another opportunity. I think it's through Trossard this time in the 71st minute, but Euro makes a good tackle to stop that potential opportunity for Trossard. Finally, Arsenal do make it 2-0 in the 73rd minute through a goal through Saliba. Saka swings in a corner this time. Partey heads it back towards goal. It hits Saliba on the back, and it just goes into the back of the net to make it 2-0. And there's not much that you can do because the corners that Arsenal were whipping into the box were really, really good. And it's disappointing that we did concede in this way. We weren't kind of opened up defensively too much. We weren't kind of really caught out on the transition. To give away set piece goals like that is incredibly disappointing. And Arsenal, win the ball back again in the 75th minute, and another Arsenal player has a shot, but it's blocked. Rice swings in another corner, and Onana has to save it over the bar. Then Saka swings in another corner, and it's a free header for Moreno. And Arsenal are completely peppering us with corners this game, and we're just not really up for defending them. We're not doing well enough in the box. We're losing our duels in the box. We're not getting tight enough to the Arsenal players, and they're getting a lot of chances to these set pieces, which is unfortunate. Finally, Manchester United do make their final change of the match. Højlund does come off for Anthony in the 79th minute, and again, Anthony didn't really do much. He was okay. Didn't really offer too much, but Arsenal do grab a chance in the 88th minute. This time it's Trossard. He makes it really good in behind and has a shot, but it doesn't come anything to it. Rice finally whips in another corner in the 90th minute, but Manchester United just about get it clear again. So yeah, in terms of the full-time summary, I think Arsenal's defence bullied the Manchester United attack and didn't really give us a sniff. They pushed up on Højlund, Mount and Garnacho in the first half, and there was really not much link-up play between Højlund, Mount and Garnacho. Even though we did edge possession in terms of overall possession, we had 53% in the first half. I don't think Højlund, Mount and Garnacho got nowhere near enough touches or nowhere near enough on the ball in threatening positions in the first half, and even in the second half where they were only on the pitch for about 10-15 minutes. They didn't get enough touches in my opinion. And then Rashford and Xerxes did come on in the second half, and again they didn't really offer too much either in terms of going forward, holding up the play and linking play, and kind of creating clear-cut chances for us. So our attack was really disappointing, and maybe that's we, like I said, we should have started with Ahmad and possibly Rashford. But yeah, this is Ruben Amorim was on a 34 league game unbeaten run. So it now ends. Rice, 2 corners and 2 goals. I think it was Rice that kind of whipped in 2 corners for both of them, but Saka did also threaten from them corners as well. But yeah, really, overall disappointing game. Disappointing performance, disappointing result, of course. I think there's ways to lose a football match, and we just kind of went out in a whimper, really. We didn't really offer too much going forward, and if you have a look at the full-time stats, which we will do so in a minute, we really didn't deserve anything to get from the game either. So let's just have a look at the XG and stuff like that. So XG, you can see 2.33, and you can see the attacking momentum. It is basically all in Arsenal's favour here, and Manchester United did have a couple spells just here in the 67th to the 70th minute, and then just in the 85th and the 86th minute, and then a little bit in the first half as well. But we really didn't create enough clear-cut chances to be kind of coming away with anything really. So it really is a disappointing result and disappointing performance, but there's not much that you can do about that now. So if we have a look at the match ratings as well, we'll have a look at each player individually. Onana's pass accuracy, again, we're seeing what he was before Ruben Amorim took over with that 73% pass accuracy. Not really good enough in terms of his distribution. 1 out of 10 long balls completed as well. So not really good enough in terms of playing out from the back. Arsenal did really stop us playing out from the back. So that was really kind of unfortunate and difficult to watch. Diving saves, 2 saves inside the box, 4. So he made 4 saves inside the box, and he 55 touches as well. But yeah, Onana, of course, he needs to be doing better in my opinion. Even though Arsenal did press us high and they did play really well in terms of stifling us from playing out from the back, we have to be playing out from the back, because I think that's the best way to play nowadays in terms of it's invite the opposition onto you and then play out from the back, because they're not going to press with the keeper, so you're always going to outnumber them when you are in possession. So from goal kicks, it's always going to be 11 v 10. You're not going to get the keeper coming out and pressing man to man. So when you're in possession of the football, you're always having one extra player. So very disappointed to see that pass accuracy from Onana, and only 1 out of 10 long balls, like I said, not really good enough. De Ligt, he did move to right centre back to accommodate for Maguire, and this is his header that he had in the 67th minute. XG of 0.13. Raya has to make a save, of course, and interesting, he's got 8.4 rating there for SofaScore. I'll have a look at him as well, because I think he did end up to maybe be man of the match. But yeah, De Ligt, 91% pass accuracy. Again, he was okay. He didn't really kind of offer too much. He was okay in terms of his duels 1, 2 out of 2. But like I said, defensive actions 6, their recoveries 3. Defensively, we did look okay. We weren't really caught out in possession. It wasn't really like a basketball end-to-end game. But yeah, Maguire was okay as well. He had a particularly good first half. I think Statman Dave tweeted some really good, nice stats about Harry Maguire, so he was okay. Duels 1, 3, ground duels 1, 3 out of 3 as well. So Maguire was okay in the first half. Mazraoui as well, I think he could have been done a little bit better. But there's not much that he can do. He's kind of playing out of position at left centre back as well. Filling in for Lisandro Martinez, who was suspended, and then Luke Shaw, who was injured as well. Successful dribbles 1 out of 2, 4 out of 9 accurate long balls. I don't think that's good enough. I think we need to be having better long balls as well. Pass accuracy 91%. Maybe that could be a little bit better. Maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on him in terms of his pass accuracy. But you have a look at the duels there. Ground duels 1, 2 out of 7. So this is Mazraoui. I wasn't particularly impressed by him this game. But players are going to have off games. Mazraoui has probably been our first or second best player, along with Ahmad this season. So, only 2 out of 7 ground duels won, which is unlike him, very uncharacteristic of him. So, Dalot, again, he didn't really offer too much. I think when we did win the ball back in the first half, maybe it was instructions by Amorim, I didn't see Dalot and Malacia get forward too much, in my opinion. So maybe he should have been getting a little bit more forward. 88% pass accuracy. Duels, 1 out of 0. Accurate crosses, long balls, 2 out of 3. Ground duels, 1, 3 out of 4. Average really. Ugarte, I think he was okay. I think he wasn't too bad. Probably decent. Yeah. I don't think he was overly too good. 91% pass accuracy there, so that's decent from him. In terms of his tackles, 1 out of 3. I think he needs to be doing better there. But I think his duels, maybe he needs to be doing better as well. So 9 duels won, 7 duels lost. I think he should be doing better there in terms of his duels. Ground duels won, 6 out of 10. Aerial duels won, 3 out of 6. I do think that Arsenal did kind of win more of their duels against us in the middle of the park, and possibly maybe that's why we should have started with Casemiro and Ugarte. But Bruno Fernandes did start in the double pivot, and Bruno Fernandes, I think he was a little bit missing this game, or even though he had 77 touches. Let's see how many touches Ugarte had. 58. So he was getting on the ball a little bit, but him playing in that pivot really stifled him. Again, ground duels 1, 2 out of 7. He's not winning many of his ground duels this game either. So if you have a look at Ugarte's ground duels 1, 6 out of 10. Again, we need to be doing better in terms of our ground duels. Malacia, 95% pass accuracy, only lasts 45 minutes, but 27 touches only, but I'm going to assume he's not. Okay, so he's won 3 out of 4 of his ground duels, which is alright. Again, average really. He needs to be doing better. I think our wing backs in the system that we're playing right now, they need to be offering a little bit more. Possibly because we're playing against a really decent drilled Arsenal side. Maybe Amorim did instruct Dalot and Malacia not to get forward too much. I'm not sure. Mount, I wasn't really particularly impressed by him. I thought he was missing a little bit, and I think even our attackers that came on in the second half, we'll get onto them in a bit, they weren't really too impressive either. Only 15 touches for Mount. Not really good enough touches in the opposition box, 0. Accurate long balls, 1. Duels 1, duels lost 3. Ground duels 1 out of 3. Again, not really good enough in my opinion. He needs to be doing better there. He was missing in my opinion, and I think personally it would have been better if we started Bruno in this position with Casemiro alongside Ugarte, then Rashford. Garnacho, he's got a 6.7 here rating, but again, he was missing as well. He had slightly more touches than Mount, looked a little bit more lively than Mount as well, offered a little bit more, but again, wasn't really setting the world on fire. 94% pass accuracy, only 1 non-accurate pass, 32 touches as well, which is decent, but duels, he did win 5 out of 7 his ground duels, so that is decent. Duels lost 3, duels won 5, so he was okay. Højlund, he needs to be doing more in my opinion, and even though the service to him was poor, and even though there weren't that many players around him, I think he needs to be doing a little bit better there, and I can see the reason as to why Amorim may want to bring in another striker, because you need that proven kind of out and out number 9 that is going to bag you 20 plus Premier League goals. And we've got 3 strikers at the club right now: Højlund, Rashford and Xerxes. Are they going to offer you? Are they going to guarantee you 20 plus Premier League goals? I'm not sure. But yeah, so Højlund, I think he needs to improve. Not really his best game, was out of it really. Ground duels 1, 4 lost. Ground duels lost 3. Ground duels 1 out of 2. Aerial duels 1, 3 out of 5. And I think the centre backs, Kiwa, I think that's how you say his name, and Saliba did push up on Højlund and really offered him nothing, and he really couldn't hold up the play too well. But yeah, so that's United. In terms of our substitutions, I think Amad Diallo did make a difference when he came on. However, his accurate passes again, only 6 out of 12 accurate passes, not really good enough from him. Usually he has a high pass accuracy. Usually it's in the high 80s, 90s pass accuracy. So he wasn't too good when he came on either. 22 touches, Jules won 4, Jules lost 2, ground Jules won 4 out of 6, so that's okay. I think that's not too bad. He was okay, but passes into final third 3, which is decent. But I think there were a couple of opportunities when the switch of play was on and someone like a Rashford had the ball in midfield and the ball didn't quite find him. He did have a good opportunity down the right wing when he did beat, I think it was Zinchenko. He nabbed the ball off him, and then Zinchenko picked up a yellow card. And he did well at that point, Amad Diallo, to get past him and win that free kick. Lenny Yoro, decent debut from him. He was okay. You got a pass accuracy 86%, and he was tasked to defend that channel, when that right channel, when he came on. So he was okay. One for the future. Only 19 years of age, so he's looking promising. In terms of tackles, 1 out of 3. Maybe needs to be doing a little bit better there. But Jules won 4. Jules lost 1. Ground Jules won 3 out of 4, which is pretty decent as well. That's Lenny Yoro. So Xerxes and Rashford, again, they didn't really offer me too much. Only 11 touches, and he came on. He played 31 minutes. I think he needs to be doing a lot better, Xerxes. Pass accuracy, only 4 out of 6 accurate passes. Not really good enough in my opinion. Ground Jules 1, 2. Jules lost 3. Ground Jules 1, 2 out of 3. He needs to be doing better there. Rashford as well. Sometimes the switch of play was on and he didn't really... There was an instance in the second half when the switch of play to Amad was on and the ball just didn't find Amad, unfortunately. So I think Rashford needs to be doing better there as well. Touches in the opposition box, 0. Still not good enough in terms of getting into that box and shooting. That's what where you want your striker. So Jules lost 2. He didn't win a single duel. Marcus Rashford, so he really didn't play well when he came on. And the same can be said for Xerxes, and I think the same can be said for Mount and Garnacho and Højlund. None of them did really well in terms of attacking wise and moving forward with the ball. Anthony, same can be said. He was only on the pitch for 11 minutes, so I can excuse that a little bit. He did win 1 of his duels and then 1 ground duel 1 as well. Pass accuracy was 75%, but not really much to say. In terms of Arsenal though, I think Arsenal played really, really well. You can see how well drilled a side Arsenal is. They played really well, were very threatening from set pieces, and they kind of locked down that centre of the pitch. I think Rice and Partey and Odegaard did really well, and then Havertz was dropping in as well, making that 4 in midfield, kind of outnumbering United. And Mount, Garnacho, Fernandes and Ugarte didn't really know what to do with them, especially Mount and Garnacho. They had poor games, and one could argue that the whole forward line were pretty poor as well. In terms of David Raya, he does come away with man of the match. So goals prevented, 0.98 goals prevented, and David Raya was pretty decent. Look, you can see his accurate passes, how decent Arsenal were from playing out the back with 76%. Accurate long balls, 7 out of 16. So I think United did force Arsenal to go long for a little bit, and then that's why you've got them long balls where he's only got 7 out of 16 long balls completed. But yeah, in terms of overall, not really good enough for Manchester United. Finally, what I want to do is just look at this one final start, which is gonna kind of not really put the nail in the coffin kind of thing, but it's a quite damning start that we can see in terms of how lacking Manchester United's threat was in terms of going forward. So we'll just have a look at here some BBC Sport. You can see here what I want to focus on is total touches in the box. Arsenal with 35 touches in the box, so you can see how more threatening Arsenal are to Manchester United compared to Manchester United. Only 6 touches in the opposition box, so not really good enough in my opinion. That needs to improve, but it can't be mistaken that we are playing a really good Arsenal side who finished second in the league last season with 89 points, only 2 points behind Manchester City, and Arsenal did beat Manchester United last season both home and away. So yeah, Arsenal are a decent side. So you can have a look at the corners there as well. Another damning stat: 13 corners, and literally every time Arsenal swinged in a corner, they could have scored from. They could have scored from it. So I think we need to improve our set piece defending. That was poor as well. Of course, going forward, like I mentioned, we were poor and we didn't really offer too much going forward either. So overall, only 2 shots on target as well. You can see here, 14 shots for Arsenal compared to United's 5, 6 shots on target for Arsenal compared to United's 2. But possession was pretty even, with Man United with 49% possession, Arsenal with 51. Pass accuracy, 86% for United and 87% for Arsenal. So pretty even in them stats. But if Man United had defended better from the set pieces, then I'm pretty sure that we probably would have got away with a point. But in terms of overall XG and stuff, if you have a look at the XG, also with a 2.33, they probably overall deserved to win the game. So yeah, very unfortunate that Man United are coming away from the Emirates with nothing. But this is Ruben Amorim's first defeat as a United boss and his first defeat of the season overall, because he was unbeaten with Sporting. He won all his games. He had a 100% win record with Sporting before he came and joined Manchester United. And unfortunately, this is his first loss of the season, and Man United, I think, 5th loss or something. But yeah, in terms of the league table, we have dropped to 11th position. And I did mention previously that results earlier on in the season probably meant that we weren't getting top 4. And if we can't be taking points off teams that are above us, like if we can't be taking points off teams like Arsenal, who we played today, Man City, who we're going to be playing next week, and then Nottingham Forest, who we're going to be playing on the weekend, then we're not going to be finishing in the top 4. So Nottingham Forest did lose to City today, but we should be getting 3 points against Nottingham Forest as well. But we'll see how that goes. So yeah, overall, a really disappointing performance, a really disappointing result, and not much can be said apart from that. We need to be doing a lot better in terms of moving forward, going forward with the ball, and looking more threatening as a side. Even though we're playing a superior side, Arsenal are better than us. There is no shame in admitting that. Like, I know they last won a trophy in 2020 or when they won the FA Cup final or whatever, but in terms of league position, in terms of playing, in terms of kind of tactically, Arsenal are a better side than Manchester United, and possibly they probably do have better players than us as well. I think Arsenal's defense is better than ours. And you can see that because we how difficult they were to break down, and Man United's attack pretty much was non-existent this game. So like I said, only 2 shots on target, so not really good enough in terms of going forward. And I think top 4 at this point in time is probably like I mentioned previously in other videos, where especially at the start of the season, when I said we're not going to win anything or whatever, we're probably not going to win any trophies this season. And and I did mention previously that we may struggle to finish in the top half of the league, and we could genuinely struggle to finish top half of the league if we don't pick up points that are teams that are below us, especially. But yeah, not much can be said apart from that. Arsenal fully deserve the win, and we now next move on to Nottingham Forest, who we play at Old Trafford on the weekend. So hopefully we can get all 3 points in that game. And if you enjoyed this review, leave a like, comment and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts of the game down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.